Someone made a movie about masturbating based off my old high school. Those uniforms, I wore those uniforms for like 4 years. The retreat they go on, I went on that retreat. Those necklaces they wear, I have one. The sweatshirts, they don't really look like that. They look like this. The logo's on the back. Mine says Jesus stick. Appropriate given the theme of the movie. Side note, I have the Jesus stick. This is the Jesus stick. It's a cross. We get to pick our own slogans, and I did not mean to make it a joke. I was just legitimately that much of a dumbass.
You like putting fish sticks in your mouth?
I'm trying to make this video more than just a hey look thing in a movie that I've also experienced, but you could do it with pretty much anything. I mean, look, those lunch trays, I've used those lunch trays. I have those lunch trays. I stole those lunch trays. No one tell my old school. Snitches get stitches. Yes, God, Yes is a 2019 sci-fi horror film starring Nancy Wheeler, a girl who gets character development through being horny. Sorry, I mean Alice, a girl who gets character development through being horny. Okay, some context. I went to a Catholic high school, and so did other people. One of those people decided to become a filmmaker, and she made a movie about her experience being horny. TLDR, it's a story of a girl discovering her sexuality in a religious environment, which, you know, comes with its struggles. Yeah, let's give it a look. 2 to the 1, from 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good tree. The movie starts off with crabby Catholic bitch lady, who I'm just gonna call Sybil, walking around and being a crabby bitch. She's being really strict on dress code, but, I mean, let's be honest, we all know Sarah O'Donnell's a whore.
Miss O'Donnell.
We then cut to sex ed class, where we see the priest telling everyone that dudes are like light switches and girls are like plug-in boards. Fun fact, I actually got this talk in college, but instead they said dudes are like bottle rockets and girls are like diesel engines. All formal education knows about sex is that girls are complex and men are ooga booga. There's some school stuff where it's hammered home that Alice is like really innocent.
Did you know that masturbating is a sin?
Same thing happens when she goes home, joins a chat room, and doesn't know what ASL means. I don't know why they're doing American Sign Language on the computer, but whatever. Side note, this bitch's diet is disgusting. She comes home and immediately starts eating tube frosting. Then later on when she's using the computer, she's just gorging out on Cheetos. Nasty bitch. Some more school stuff happens and we're in the cafeteria and... Wait a sec. Is that the token black girl from 13 Reasons Why? Now's a good time to mention that, I mean, it's not exactly Leonardo DiCaprio, but Alicia Bowe, Natalia Dyer, they're not super A-list, but they're recognizable. You know, you've seen these people in places. Which is why it's so fucking weird they're playing students from my high school. This whole thing is just very surreal to me. Anyway, this one girl tells Alice about this retreat she just went on called Kikos, which is life-changing. I've been on that retreat. It's called Kairos. Not Kirkos. That's not really a location spoiler, because I know they have it at other schools, not just mine. This is the part of the video where I tell you that if there's any chance you're going to go on a Kairos retreat, you should probably stop watching now. Regardless of religion, it's a pretty cool experience, and this whole video is going to more or less spoil it. So, you know, fuck off. Go watch the 8D audio video. That one's a banger. There's some high school drama. We're on a bus on the way to Kikos. Step off the bus, and there he is. Adam. The temptation. This is also where we learn that Alice has a thing for arm hair, which, whatever you're into, I guess. She fantasizes about running her fingers through it, which is weird by itself, but it gets really gross when I add this macaroni sound effect.
That's what good pussy sounds like.
The kids go to their cabins and the senior group leaders take away everyone's phone or watch. And then Jessica says,
"You're on Jesus's time."
This is kind of played as like a, what the fuck, why do you need? It's actually pretty interesting to not know what time it is for 3 days. So much of our day is dictated by a clock that it's really weird to not know if it's like 8 p.m. or 1:30 in the morning. Once the sun goes down, you got nothing. Everyone goes for the first group thing, and I will say, if they got anything right, it's the overenthusiastic group leaders.
Group 1? Awesome. I'm Chris, Group 1 senior leader. Have a seat.
Alice glances over at a microwave, which, don't worry, that'll be important later. It's the first night, and Alice is just not feeling it. She's just all weirded out, and she tries to play some games to get her mind off things, and then she finds out that her phone can vibrate. And yes, what I'm implying is exactly what happens. Unfortunately, right when she's getting into it, she looks over at Jesus. Total mood killer. Hard to have a boner when you're praying. The next day, everyone goes on a hike. Alice falls down to get some attention, fakes an injury. Kind of sus, but whatever. Alice is back in her cabin. Jessica comes to check up on her and, oh no.
What was that?
Forgot to turn your phone off, dumbass. So yeah, she gets her phone taken away. Honestly, thank God she did, because the plot would go nowhere if she didn't get in trouble. As a punishment, she has to empty all the trash and clean the floors in the cafeteria. When she's cleaning up, she notices the priest has a computer in his office, and so she goes and she looks up Bible verses and how to be a better person. Of course not, she goes on a chat room and asks what getting your salad tossed means. What the fuck, Alice? You are not sneaky enough to be pulling this shit. So yeah, she hears someone coming, turns the computer off, doesn't close out of the chat room though, because, you know, she's an idiot. Later on in small group, everyone is talking about struggles they've had, and Alice just cannot think of something she struggled with. This part is actually portrayed fairly accurately. I mean, someone walks up to you and say, hey, what's a tragedy that's affected your life? And unless like someone you knew died, like there's not really an obvious answer. Instead of going through the embarrassment of not having a tragic life, Alice decides to lie about her dog dying. Gus, the golden retriever. Apparently he ate some poison, he's dead. No, he's not. Honestly, first time I watched this, I wasn't sure if she was lying or not. I mean, fuck, she fed him frosting in the beginning, so doesn't care about his health too much. When me and the boys were watching this for the first time, I don't know if we were just memeing it up, but we all got really confused and concerned that Gus had died, because Gus is our favorite character. I don't want to say it's a showcase of how strong these characters are written, but the only character we care about is this dog we see for 30 seconds. So anyway, wait, look, there it is. There's a Jesus stick. Yes, God, yes, movie accurate prop. $5 on eBay. People are eating food. The priest shows up and tells everyone that he found some scandalous chat going on his computer, because no shit, Alice. And then Jessica has to go to a leader meeting, and hold on a second. That's not a leader meeting. I mean, technically she is leading him to the
come zone.
Oh, P.S. Alice is watching all of this go down, and she is having a grand old time with that broom handle. Also, with the song that's playing, I mean, just while watching this awkward ass scene of this girl going to town on this broomstick handle, the only thing I could think of was this meme. Arguably a bigger mood killer than Jesus. Blah, 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 more cleaning, and then, oh, priest, hide in the closet. Okay. Wait a second. Is he watching Prawn? So yeah, while Alice is cleaning, the priest walks in, watches porn. Turns out he's a huge hypocrite. You see what I mean by her phone had to get found to propel the plot forward? This whole retreat would have been way more boring if she wasn't stuck doing chores. Later on, she asks to talk to Adam, and then, sexually assaults him. Don't worry, he's into it. Except 3 seconds in, he's like, hold up, I'm being a whore. I shouldn't do that. And he stands up and, whoa! How old is this guy supposed to be? Can they show that?
You know that I get turned on like a microwave.
Huh. I guess the microwave was foreshadowing. He then puts his hand over his junk, which really only deserves one sound effect. Ugh, God. I cringe just thinking about it. At this point, Alice has had enough of the weirdness, and she just takes off. She stumbles across a bar where she meets a magical forest lesbian who teaches her life lessons. I'm joking, but actually kind of not. They have a conversation which actually brings up a few good points about religion kind of scaring children into behaving. And the whole thing culminates with the lesson of hey, everyone's just trying to figure their shit out. Don't worry about it too much. The Magic Forest lesbian gives Alice a ride back to the camp, and before they part, she suggests checking out some schools on the east or west coast. This place is in the Midwest, and it's fairly common for people to just stay in one place their whole lives, so it's kind of solid advice. That's what I did, and now every time I want to go home, it's a logistical fucking nightmare. Yay, independence, fuck. The next day for breakfast, instead of sitting with her friend, who turned out to be a stereotypical mean girl, she goes and sits with the ooh quirky girl off in the corner, who turns out to be a total fucking weeb.
It's a city in Japan. I love Japan. I'm going to go with my mom when I turn 18.
And then finally, at the end of the retreat, she walks up to give a speech, talk about what she's learned, and she says the S word.
We're all just trying to figure out our shit.
And everyone gasped. I don't know how accurate the gasp is. I mean, you definitely have the goody two-shoes types, but if I remember my high school experience correctly, not the type of people to be shocked at the use of an S word. The retreat's over, she's back at school, goes to confession, and just fucking calls the priest out.
I watched people having sex.
She goes back home, turns on the car scene of the Titanic, and becomes overwhelmed by the raw sexual power of Leonardo DiCaprio. The end. You gotta keep in mind this is the time of VHS, so like wherever you stop the movie, when you turn on the VHS player again, that's where the movie's gonna be. Which is to say, she turns this thing on and it is immediately at the car scene. This is not the first time she's done this. Okay, so that was Yes God Yes. That was a interesting experience. It's a little weird to give my thoughts on this movie from the perspective of someone who went through the real life events. Because even though I went through these events and my experience was different, I can't exactly say that the movie was wrong because, well, it happened in a different time period. I mean, for fuck's sake, they're still using CRT monitors. The phones look like this. Maybe it was just a lot more strict before I got there, but I don't know. There's a couple of outliers with kids like cracking jokes in class or giving blowjobs in the forest.
Come zone.
For the most part, everyone's kind of portrayed as a bit of a religious goody two-shoes, which, I don't know, that wasn't my experience. I mean, instead of being at church on the weekends, people were more likely to end up in the hospital getting their stomach pumped freshman year. Yo, and shout out to my boy. He came to school high on cocaine. But again, that's just my experience. You know, that's just me. As far as the accuracy of the retreat, it's pretty spot on. That includes Alice's attitude towards it. This is gonna kind of sound a little weird, but at some point the priest says,
Alice, this retreat isn't going to do you any favors if you're not honest.
and that's true. When it comes to this retreat, or anything like it really, if you just go in with the mindset of this is weird, I'm not gonna get into this at all, then you're gonna have a weird time. If you go in with an open mind and just kind of trust the process, then it has the potential to be pretty cool, whether you're religious or not. As far as some of the more cinematic aspects of the movie, I mean, it was shot decently, no huge issues with continuity. The characters, besides Alice, were kind of meh. They very much existed in her universe. And Alice herself was just kind of awful. I get that she's like trying to figure her shit out, but I mean, she does some sketchy shit. Or maybe she's just stupid, I don't know. She lies about her dog dying. She keeps her phone when she wasn't supposed to. She went on the priest's computer trying to figure out what tossing someone's salad means, which, I mean, I didn't go into the whole like tossing salad subplot, but based off context clues, she should know that it's at least something sexual by this point in the movie. AKA, don't look it up on the priest's computer. Oh my god. I don't know, it's an okay movie. It certainly exists. As someone who's been through the experience, it was kind of fun to look at it and make fun of it. Outside of that perspective though, I don't know if it's worth it. I'd say it's worth a watch if you can get it for free. I wouldn't buy it. All in all, four and a half frosted Cheetos out of 10. I have to eat one of these, don't I? It's so stale! So, that was my video on Yes God Yes. Apologies that it took so long to come out. Usually I'm just lazy, but this time I just ended up biting off more than I could chew. Next video is in the works, so stay tuned for that. Don't worry, one upload a month is getting annoying for me too. Hope you liked the video. Must not have sucked too bad if you got this far. Standard YouTube shit. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, that's all I got. Bye.
Let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away, get away, get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. Go! She really, really wanna pop me. Go! Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. Go! You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm